2.9 of that. Right? Why? Because we are, what is it in for me? You have brought this. Where is my part? And so, my sister, you are saying that we are doing this for our grandchildren. If you are going to ask where is my part now, your grandchildren are in limbo. Isn't it so? So I think we need to have a deliberate move. 10 years ago, I took part in discussion around this in the EU. Much more of my time in the ESC, I did a lot of work, including developing the first East African pharmaceutical manufacturing plan. I don't know where it is. Okay? I don't think it is really, I don't think somebody is putting on the, don't follow through what we mean. And that means let's learn to negotiate and follow through what we mean in our policies, mean in our plans. There is that 3 billion. That's a lot of money. But most of it, if you're not careful, will go to talent. Tap talent to be able, Nazim, to come and help you to design up something, lay out for you something. Whether it works or not, it's up to you. He goes with $1 million. Isn't it so? So that justifies that we as a country, in sectors like this one, which is multi-trillion shilling or multi-billion dollars, we must invest in talent. The talent is there, it needs to be tapped, and it needs to be refocused to the direction that we need. So in terms of negotiation, we really need government to have people who negotiate and successfully do so. If you can't, you're not going to pull somebody's money. Yeah? You're not going to pull somebody's money if you are going to wish-wash. One time I was doing a study on tourism. I was doing, in MBA, I was doing something on the supply chain. And I was interested in the hospitality supply chain in Uganda. I went to the Ministry of Tourism. I tell you, I failed to find anything meaningful there to guide me. Look at the policy, which is, look at the act. It is so shallow that it needs to be revisited. And so if you went out there and asked people, do you have business plans for this? No. How do these people then get shaped? They make billions of shillings ultimately through speculation. But they need to be forecast to be part of the investors we are talking about. Otherwise, we shall be having investment plans, ability to invest doesn't exist, and so who will take the investment? Who will drive the investment? Foreigners, isn't it? And then we shall say the priority is always given to foreigners. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. When you're speaking about partnerships and the need to be deliberate about that, and you mentioned about the oil and gas sector, I see how government is really committed to make sure that that oil comes out of the ground. Wow. Interesting submissions. Thank you very much, Martin.
Thank you so much. My name is Lioka. I'm from Zambia. But I think that and listen for these discussions really, in a way you cannot afford not to be a little bit emotional, because these are issues that really affect us to the core of the bone. And I think it's the same for all of us, regardless of our context. I just want to put it this way, that when we look at the elephant in the room, and from the previous speaker talking about partnerships, I just want to raise the bar a little bit. that from where I sit, I think that the private sector and the government sector, this thing together. And I think that we must quickly accept this fact that government should be equally concerned about the fact that we are not manufacturing our own medicines, we're not manufacturing our own drugs. 70, 90% thresholds are too high for any context to be comfortable, regardless of our GDP. Perhaps that's the reason it speaks into those numbers again. And so going forward, and Nazim, you talked, you brought the case study, government having intentions to set up base in Kenya, and they've made statements. By the way, that is government doing that. It's not the private sector. It's not even lobby. No, it's government standing up and making affirmative action to establish, that industry. And here we are sitting, and we're talking about lobbying government, all these things. For heaven's sake, who provides, health services to the people, isn't it? Isn't it government that is supposed to be the first stakeholder actually to be concerned? Because when healthcare is high, who's facing it really? Who's feeling the heat? It's government which is not able to provide services to its people. And so when we talk as to what, I think that we sit in that boat together. It sinks, it stays afloat, we'll be together, private, civil society, and government together. And so, government, for me, talking about partnerships, I think that you spoke well about partnerships. But I think for me, it must extend further to talking about public-private partnerships with government. There is no way, if this game is dirty, government is not going to stand aloof and keep their fingers clean. They must dip into there, and then they must soil their hands too. Because government must invest into R&D. And if that is not going to happen, brothers and sisters, this is mere rhetoric. And I think that if government is going to stand aloof and say, look, we'll give you business, we'll give you framework contracts, we've done all that stuff in Zambia. But for as long as government doesn't see the real value for it, we'll still talk about it on the tables and will not be going anywhere. So I think part of the message as we go forward is really to compel government